Alright, so welcome to my bedroom, and I appreciate you for being here. Basically, I decided to do like a whole new setup type thing, so camera should be stable now, because yeah, I got it on a tripod, so that's always cool. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the idea that frames per second should dictate whether or not you should buy a game. This is something that's kind of irritated me, I guess, a little bit, irked me, I don't know. But basically, the one thing that I always found weird was the idea that the game must be 60 frames per second. And for me, growing up, the soap opera effect was a terrible effect. It looked cheap, it looked just like a school play or college play, something like that. It just didn't look natural. And then there was Lord of the Rings and Peter Jackson. He did, I think, 24 frames per second. But usually, typically, I think like the more common thing is like 30 frames per second for cinematic experiences. I don't understand why people need 60 frames per second for a game that is a movie.
Fighting for them until the very last beat.
HellBlade 2, which I didn't play the first one. I played probably like, I think I got maybe just partially through. I maybe played like an hour or two. Nothing against the game. The amount I did play was really great. I just get so kind of distracted by other games, and that sometimes I forget to go back.
People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
To the previous ones. So basically, HellBlade is a game that just deals very, very well with mental illness. And the second one, I'm not quite sure what the story is. I haven't really seen any trailers, so that's the big reason why I gotta play HellBlade 1, is because I want to be able to understand HellBlade 2 to its fullest capacity. And it's a game that I've seen little small snippets. I've seen how good the game looks, which, Jesus, like the first one looked photorealistic, pretty darn close. And this second one, next level. But anyway, yeah, HellBlade 2 is going to be 30 frames per second. For me personally, I think that's good, because I see HellBlade as a more cinematic experience. It's story-driven, strictly story-driven, and it's not multiplayer. Call of Duty, make all the case in the world. You demand 120 frames per second? Demand it. I agree with you, because multiplayer games like Halo or Call of Duty are going to need higher frames per second, essentially because the game moves quicker. You're supposed to react in real time. When I hit that joystick, that thing better move as fast as possible, because otherwise I could die in that game. I could lose, and that would be fine, but I could lose. HellBlade 2 being stuck at 30 frames per second, and it's not even stuck, it's just, I imagine they went with that for two reasons. One, maybe the higher frames per second would cause issues because of how good the game looks, that a lot of computers maybe wouldn't be able to handle it. I don't know. That's something that's kind of come into my head in my line of thinking of like, okay, why did they put it at 30 frames per second? Now, the biggest reason why I think they did it is story. And for HellBlade 2, what other reason are you going to play that game other than story? That game doesn't have anything else other than story. So it is a cinematic experience, and you're asking for higher frames per second to make it look cheaper, smoother, I guess. It's not really smoother. It just doesn't look natural. You don't move in 60 frames per second naturally. At most, you move in 24 frames per second in real time, in real life, okay? You're not moving that fast. If you think you're as fast as your Call of Duty player or Overwatch player, you better be like in the NFL or Usain Bolt or somebody so quick, okay? Because you're not, okay? And I understand there's people that just are just so hell-bent about this whole frames per second, and 60 frames per second is like, whatever. It doesn't matter, okay? with these types of games when they're story driven. But we're going to go over to IGN. I'm going to show you this article and we're going to read it, okay? So let's head over to now. It says, we have a month and a half until HellBlade 2 is released, and if you were curious to know more about the technical side of things, it has been revealed today, April 4th, but it has been revealed today that Ninja Theory's highly anticipated action game is locked at 30 frames per second. And if you are playing an Xbox Series X or S version, so I imagine what, PC version is not locked. Okay, so this is why we read articles, okay? So PC unlocked, you don't, so basically, yeah, however the PC version is not locked to this feature. So if you're playing on PC unlimited, so my guess is because the Xbox Series S and X, like graphics wise, processor wise, not really up to pace with HellBlade 2, but they can still play the game. But they have to be locked at a certain frame per second because of that. So I originally thought, hey, maybe they did this for cinematic reasons. I guess not. So I was completely wrong on that. But I guess everyone wins, right? I probably will play on I'll probably lock mine at 30 frames per second just because personally I like that. Let me make myself a little bit larger than life, okay? Like a Backstreet Boy. I even got the like ice tips, but anyway, so I think everybody kind of wins here, right? I don't know, like HellBlade 2 is a game that you want to have like the best graphics card for to really see how photorealistic the game looks. Personally, Xbox Series X and X, yeah, unless that's the only thing that you have, then yeah, play the game on that 30 frames per second, not so bad. I personally, like I said, probably will put mine at 30 frames per second because I do like the more cinematic look. If they had 24 frames per second, I'd do that, which I actually might be able to do. So anyway, yeah, HellBlade 2 unlocked on PC. So really, this turned out to be a nothing burger. So yeah. Anyway, are you picking up HellBlade 2? Let me know, comments down below. And you like this video, don't forget to leave a like. I'm going to do some different things with my lighting in my room, but eventually kind of make this like a little gaming territory eventually. But for now, thank you so much for chilling with me, and I'll see you all in the next gaming sessions.
I spaced out of my head to the depths of the universe. It's a spell or a chance just to open up a newer curse. If I swim too far, then my